is Elorza. I have been working at Belen for about 3 years, and I was a student at Belen from 6th grade through senior year. So I've been here, I guess, a total of like 10 years. I started here at Belen as a substitute teacher about 3.5 years ago, and then I started teaching math. Obviously, as somebody who has a degree in aerospace engineering, I've always done a lot of math, and so I can teach math, and I started there. And about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I was talking to administrators, I was talking to other faculty members about the need to have an engineering class at Belen, and the fact that we have so many people that graduate from Belen and become lawyers that we're missing an opportunity to get some of those guys who are unsure of what they want to do interested in engineering. So we proposed it, we got Father Willie and the administration to approve it, and over the last year we've been working a lot to get a room together, to get all the materials together, to certify the program so that the students can put it on their resume or put it on their college transcript. So it's been kind of a long process, but in the end we've got about 80 or 70 juniors and seniors signed up for the class, and as far as the first year is going, it's been really successful. The guys seem like they really enjoy the class, they seem like they have a lot of fun, and we're learning a lot. The engineering class at Belen has done a couple of things. We've done simple machines that then became compound machines. We've done electrical circuits. They've worked on, getting lights to light up and getting things to work, and using electrical circuits to then create the electrical circuit and physically create the electrical circuit from a diagram. They've also helped work on robots and have made a lot of design work, and have actually documented and then started working on the initial parts of designing a robot for a competition. And then later in the year they're going to be doing this really cool project where, as a class, we're going to create a recycling center. And so we're going to get aluminum, we're going to get glass, and we're going to get paper, and they're going to create a machine that's going to basically figure out what the material is and then put it in an appropriate place. So I'm actually kind of excited about that one. As I was saying, we do a lot in engineering, we build a lot, and for example here we've got a bunch of cars, and you may not know what these are, but these are the solar panels. So what the guys did is they built solar panel cars, and the purpose of the solar panel cars is to teach them the value of solar energy, but also understanding that solar energy is something that is very weak. You need a lot of solar power in order to get the car to move very little. So that project really helped them figure that out and showed them they were able to build it. And as you can tell, people had different designs. Some guys use smaller wheels, other guys use bigger wheels. It depends on what you were thinking about and what was important to you as an engineer. What did you focus on? Did you focus on speed? Did you focus on strength? So it kind of gave the guys an opportunity to really learn about how we design and how solar power works. Well, at Belen we have the Belen Robotics competition series, and we compete in this thing called VEX. And the VEX competition is worldwide. There are over 5,000 teams in the competition. And this year we've been competing in what's called VEX Gateway. It's this year's competition. Every year the competition changes. And last year it was Roundup, and the year before that it was something else. And the goal throughout the season, which starts in September, August, and ends around March, is to make it to the World Championships, which this year is in Anaheim, California. So our goal is to make it to Anaheim. We haven't qualified yet, but I expect that we will within the next month or two, and then we'll see what happens in Anaheim. In Anaheim we've got 400 or 500 teams from around the world. Last year we were sitting next to teams from Japan, teams from China, teams from South Korea on the Asian side, and then across from us there were teams from Colombia, there were teams from London, and all over Europe. So it really is a world championship where teams from everywhere go. And we were actually really excited to be there. We didn't do as well as we had hoped, but I think this year we've got a great robot, and I really expect us to do very well this year. Well, the thing with mathematics for me is that I'm not a math major. Some of the other math teachers are math majors. They actually went and got math degrees. I know Mr. O got a math degree from FIU, and some of the other teachers have math degrees, but I actually don't have a math degree. It just so happens that when you become an engineer, you have to take a lot of math classes. So I took everything from Calculus 1 to Calculus 3, differential equations, all these really high-level math classes. But unlike the math guys, at some point we go to practical stuff. So I used all of that math in college to figure out how the forces worked on a plane, or how much lift you were creating on a wing based on aerodynamic forces, or on drag and lift and all those things. And obviously throughout that entire course of taking all these math classes, I became pretty good at it. And that's kind of how I got here, and I felt very comfortable teaching just about any math class that we have to offer, because I've done so much more math.
Sinking like stone is all that we fall.
Alright, so the way I got to Belen was through a friend. I went to a public school in the area. I started off at Miami Springs Elementary, and then I went to a public school in Doral called John A. Smith Elementary. And I wasn't really in the Catholic school circles, and I didn't know any of the Epiphany kids, or the St. Thomas kids, or St. Kevin. or St. Agatha. I didn't know any of those. It just so happened that a family friend was sending their son to Belen, and they suggested that I take the test. We didn't really know a lot about Belen. As a Colombian, or somebody from Colombian heritage, Belen wasn't a thing. I didn't have grandfathers that went to a Belen in Colombia or anything like that. And so we didn't have a connection to them. But we soon realized that the school was fantastic, that it gave us gave me a lot of opportunity to grow and be successful. So we went forward, and I took the exam, and I did well enough to get in, and so I guess the rest is history. My high school life, I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed my time at Belen. I think my favorite years were definitely junior and senior year, without a doubt, because junior and senior year, I figured out the system. And what I mean by that is I figured out how to be successful at Belen while doing sports, and I did debate, and I did a couple of things in Key Club and stuff like that, while still keeping good grades, and not having to struggle with like the homework and the teachers and this and that. And like I think that about junior, senior years when I finally figured that out, and when my core group of friends, we really became very close junior and senior year. I guess it's because it was coming to an end, and we all kind of saw the writing on the wall, and we decided that subconsciously in a way, that we were gonna really like stick together during those 2 years. And by far, when I got to my senior year, we were really tight-knit. My favorite time, actually, when I think back on senior year, the thing that I enjoy the most is lunch. We would get into the cafeteria, obviously cut in front of all the juniors and sophomores, and we would just grab our food as fast as possible so that we could sit down and basically talk and laugh and just enjoy it. And I remember, as a matter of fact, when I look back on senior year, that is probably the highlight of my senior year, is being able to spend every lunch with those guys, laughing and enjoying my time. And actually, I started doing homework at home so that I wouldn't have to do it during lunch, because it was just so much fun. Everybody enjoyed it so much. I've been growing the beard for like a month, although I trimmed it. I cheated, yeah. Well, it's interesting. As somebody, like I mentioned before, that is Colombian, that didn't have connection to the school beforehand, I don't really think I appreciate the Jubilee quite as much as I would if I were Cuban and my great-grandfather had gone to Belen and my father had gone to Belen and I graduated from Belen. I know that the school struggled a lot to find its roots in Miami, and it was kicked out, but I don't have that cultural connection to Cuba. Nobody in my family has ever been imprisoned by Castro. None of us have ever been affected by communism. As a matter of fact, in Colombia, people don't see Cuba as a bad place. They just see it as a place with problems and with issues. But here it's different. Here Cuba is obviously a bad place, and it's something that is rooted in communism for the last 50 years or 60 years. And I think that the Golden Jubilee really demonstrates how the school has really made it into Miami, has become a focus of a lot of the area. People want to send their kids here, people want to know graduates, people want to work with graduates, and the network is incredible here in Miami in terms of the Belen network and the Belen Alumni network, and I really do gain a lot of appreciation for that. But in terms of how the Jubilee affects me personally, I would say probably not as much as somebody who really could appreciate it from a historical context, who was here 50 years ago, or who knew that their parents were here. And because I talked to guys who graduated from Belen when they were on 8th Street and they were playing with dirt, and when they played soccer or football, it was on a dirt field. Or even guys who graduated 20 years ago and Belen didn't even have a gym. It was just a main building and a huge swamp area, and look at what it is now. So I think I value the last 10 years that I've been here, and I've seen the school grow so much, and it's such a wonderful thing to be able to say that we've been here for 50 years, to have the President of the United States send a letter congratulating us on being here for 50 years. Those are incredible things, and things that obviously I appreciate. But I don't know if I really appreciate it in terms of me and my life and my family. But no, it's definitely wonderful. I think the Jubilee is great. I love my students. They're awesome. They're kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but for the most part, I think that we get along and we work so well that I really wouldn't change working with these guys for anything. That's definitely true.
That you have the most beautiful